Yeah, hello everyone. I hope you can hear me, see me and Jan, both of us properly, and you can hear me properly. Just respond in the chat box if you can hear me. Yeah, so perfectly. Yeah. Today we have with us Jan Law, a very famous coach all over India. He's the youngest coach to cover the A license in football, and we'll see a lot of things. So, first of all, welcome, Jan. Welcome to our show.
Thank you, Sana. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you for accepting the invitation to interact with the young players. It's always great to have the players and the coach together so that they can learn something new, especially in the football.
Absolutely. I
Yes,
love interacting with the young ones, especially because they are the future. They are the future. So,
yes,
anything for the youngsters.
yes. So, uh, he is an Indian professional football manager who is currently the head coach of IB Club Aizawl FC in Mizoram. And he is the youngest. Let me tell you, at the age of 18 years, he completed his D license and currently is A license. So you can understand that he's just 29 years of age and he's completed the A license. That's the topmost license in AIFF. So that's a great achievement. And we all are lucky to have you, Jan, and all the students and the players that they are having. So that's a great opportunity to interact with them. So
Thank
all
you
the
very much.
players, you can have your questions in the chat box. Yeah, I hope my voice is coming properly.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
players are
Perfect.
saying, yeah, some players are saying that there's some echo coming. Is it still coming?
I'm not getting any echo or feedback.
You're not getting. Okay, so I think it's perfectly fine. Okay, so we can start with the first question, Jan. There are a few questions that student already asked, and so I'm just asking the basic question: what qualities should be there to become a successful footballer? Although it's a vague question, but still, in every young mind, for those who want to become a footballer, that's the basic question. What are the qualities?
See, honestly, every coach has a different preference, different kind of players. But in modern football, what I personally like in young players is that they can play multiple positions. Firstly, those days are over where you're fixed to one position. Even if you can see in the top leagues, it's always usually foreigners taking up the main position. So Indian players, we have to learn to adapt sometimes, play in multiple positions. That is one thing very important. Whenever I scout for players personally, I look for players who can play more than one position. That is always an extra advantage to have, even tactically changing during the game. It makes a lot of sense for any coach to have, firstly. Then, secondly, the most important thing, more than your technical, more than physical, I always feel that a player has to be intelligent. Sometimes I get rid of the best players. People say, why do you do that? So because maybe he's not the best um, in making decisions, he's not the best adapting tactically. And for me, that is the most important thing. What you do without the ball. With the ball, anybody can work.
Yes,
Everyone can pass,
yes,
everyone can shoot, everyone can dribble, everyone can head. So that those are technical abilities, and every player is different, so you can utilize. But if you are an intelligent player, even you can adapt to any situation. You can work with any coach. Uh, for example, let's say in a 90-minute game, the best players in the world. Just coming to stats. The
yes,
best players in the world, they get the ball for maybe 3 to 4 minutes in a 90-minute game. That's the best players in the world I'm talking about.
true.
That means it's almost 87 minutes, no ball. And that's where you're making all the decisions, working without the ball, how you defending at the back, defending up front, taking positions, drawing away your opposition, making dummy runs. It's a lot of work that goes into finding a perfect footballer. So even though, nowadays players show their highlight packages, when they want to go to a good coach, when they want to play in a good club, there are a lot of players who sent me their videos of them
Yes,
dribbling, of them crossing, shooting, scoring. That's just maybe 3% of the game.
true.
So I personally don't judge any player based on their highlights. So
Yes,
I like to watch full matches. I like to see their contribution without the ball. I like to see how they're making decisions in the right places at the right time. What is their mentality in the game? What is their work ethic? Are they leaders? Do they communicate? How do they deal when you're one goal down, or if you're playing with 10 men, or if you are
Yes.
winning by 4 goals? What is the mentality and approach of the player? Has he become casual, or is he still playing in the same intensity he started with? So I always look at the aspect without the ball, which is personally very important for me. So whenever I make a team, in the I League, or even if I'm
Yeah.
scouting my foreign players, I don't look for players who are just good with the ball. I need players who are good without the ball and who are intelligent, who can adapt, who can learn, and who will give their best 90 minutes no matter what happens. So for me personally, I always tell young players to get better without the ball, pay attention, stay focused on the game, because you get the ball very less in 11v11 game.
Yes.
More
Yes.
you play without the ball. So without the ball, now players have to get better if they want to reach the top level, and that's the only difference I feel that differentiates a good player and a great player. Is the decision
Yes.
making.
Decision
So
making.
for
Yes.
me, those two things.
That's a very valid point that you have raised, because off the ball, like you were saying, 97% time you're off the ball. So
Yeah,
if I ask you a basic 3 points there, players can improve their off the ball positioning, because fitness plays a very important role here. Without the
yeah.
ball, you have to run, you have to be in a position, you have to like support somewhere, support in defense, support. So what are the like 2 3 important things where player can improve, or what are the improvement areas where off the ball positioning players can improve?
See, I always feel that players, whenever they watch matches, professional matches, they only
Mhm.
see what their players in their positions are doing with the ball. So the best
Yes.
way to learn is always observe what they do even without the ball. Let's say a left back. Let's say I'm a left back. I
Yeah.
will not observe what the left back only does with the ball. Maybe what does the left back do when my right winger has the ball?
Yes.
So these
True.
are the things we have to see.
Mhm.
These are things that we actually cannot see because on TV broadcast is always on the ball.
On the ball. Yes.
Yeah, so it's very important. I always tell young players, go to the stadiums, go to the grounds, watch some I League matches, watch some ISL matches. You
Yes.
can see the entire picture. So even when we analyze matches, I don't put the camera on the ball. It's always a wide angle where you can see the whole pitch. So I can see every player, in minute detail what they do with that ball. So for any young player, learn from your idols, but try and see what they do with the ball. Go to the stadium, go and watch
Mhm.
your player continuously for that 90. Don't look at the score, don't look at what he's doing, only with the ball, without.
Yes. With them.
And that's the best way to learn, best way to learn. And of course,
Best way.
coaches are there, coaches will guide you.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is the major factor. But you know if a player sees his idol do something, I think they pick up those things better than anyone else can. So
True.
watching matches are most important thing, most important thing.
Most important thing. Yes. Yes. The example that you gave is brilliant, and like students can directly connect, like what you are doing at left back, what right back, the ball is on the right wing. That's a great point. Apart from this, Jan, if I ask you a basic question that every player has in his mind about the weekly schedule. So, as a coach, and you have been training, seeing the players, what should be an ideal weekly schedule starting from Sunday to Saturday? It's like on a loser side, like how many training sessions will be there, how many rest days or gym days or some kind of this. This is the question asked by one of our players.
So basically, I'll tell you, there are many phases in the week. Basically, a week can be in
Yes.
preseason, week can be during competition. So
Yes.
sometimes in a week you can have one match, sometimes in a week you can have three matches.
True.
So it's quite difficult sometimes managing because time is short. Plus, if I'm talking about a professional club, you have three matches in a week. You might have two away matches, out of which 2 to 3 days
Yes.
you're traveling. You have 2 days recovery. So it's
Yes.
quite
I
complicated. It's a very big answer, to be honest.
Mhm.
But let's say, for example, in the preseason,
Yeah.
uh, usually we train once a day, where
Okay.
it's enough rest so that the intensity is high. Sometimes we train twice, when the intensity is low, or we want to, it's more about conditioning the earlier phase of preseason, but the closer I come towards the end of preseason, it's more about one session a day, high intensity. You got 1 day recovery, and you got in those recovery days, we go for maybe swimming, we go for massages, we go for just some fun games, fun activities. And not just that, it's not just technical tactical, but also studying our opposition. So we watch a lot of our opposition's matches, what they are doing, how they are playing, their individual players. So for example, again, if I'm say a center back, I'll be watching the opponent team strikers. What are his tendencies? How he plays? Does he drop? Does he hold? Does he press? Where does he shoot from? What is his strong foot? What are his strong points? So it's a lot of learning without the ball as well. It's a lot of learning off the pitch as well. But usually, more than training, I always say the rest is very important, which
Yes.
players these days they don't pay attention to too
Pay
much.
attention.
Yeah. So, but thank God the lockdown is there, and you're still trying to stay indoors. But a lot of them, prior to the lockdown, prior to the COVID scene all over the world, prior to the pandemic, after training, players are going roaming around, partying. Next day, training you have at 6 a.m., 8 a.m. They're not being able to give their best. So I always feel that the rest factor is very, very important. The recovery is very, very important. The nutrition, the diet is very, very important. Uh, because it's still part of your job.
Yes.
Rest is also a part of your job. Eating right is also a part of your job. It's not just those 2 hours on the pitch that is a part of your job. So I feel that a player needs to be completely committed towards the team, and whatever the coach may have, as a coach you might want 2 sessions a day, you might want 3 sessions a day. I've done that personally as a coach. Sometimes when preseason is short, you get lesser time with the team. Sometimes we go
Yes.
3 sessions a day, out of which two may be on the ground, one may be a gym session, one may be a yoga session. So it depends as coach to coach, team to team, duration of preseason, what competition you're going in for. So there's a lot of planning. But other than that, other than the training, nutrition and rest. This is two
Rest.
things I focus a lot on my players. I'm very strict about these things. Heavy fines are imposed on these players if they are not treating these also as importantly as being on the pitch. So
Yes.
yeah, I feel that even youngsters should get into the habit now about staying fit, staying
Yeah.
recovering well, because if you don't recover, you don't eat right, you're never going to be able to give you 100% on the pitch. So it's all a reaction. So the youngsters, rest well, eat well, sleep well, watch TV, relax, watch your oppositions, watch
Yes.
players in your positions when you're not doing anything, go online, study something, but rest. Don't roam around, don't fool around,
Yeah.
waste your energy, because these foundation years for young players will never come back. These are the
True.
golden years, so make the most of it, make the most of the time you have now, and the sky's the limit.
Yeah, like as you said earlier, like on ball or off the ball, that is important. So on the same lines, on the pitch and off the pitch, there are two important
Absolutely.
things. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One of the player is asking that how to handle pressure when you concede an early goal or a goal or two. So how do you motivate your players when they concede early?
See, it's all about the mindset of the players. Like I said, he does not have to be technically the best player. He does not have to be
Yes.
the best in dribbling past three players. It's the mentality. If you have the players of the right mentality, if they are groomed well from the foundation days, it's very easy to come up through these ranks. So, talking about pressure, I feel that pressure is something that makes you better. You know, even diamonds are rocks formed under pressure. It's simple.
Yes.
It's as simple as that. So they have to learn to play under pressure. In India, we focus less on matches and competitions in the youth level, which I
Yes.
feel should be focused on a bit more. Where the kids can play at least 40 to 50 matches a season, where they
Yes, season.
learn to win, where they learn to lose. It
Yes.
doesn't
Yes.
matter. It doesn't matter if you lose, but how you come out of that loss for the next game, or if you're a man down at that age, what would you do? How would you motivate yourself? That's what I said in the first question you asked me. I look for players, what they are doing without the ball. Do we have good leaders in the team to push those players
Yes.
after conceding an early goal? Yes. Do we
Yes.
have uh, leader, like a captain. What
Uh,
is a captain? A captain is not
yeah,
someone who just goes for a toss. You know.
true.
So do we have
It's the
leaders in the team?
character that we need inside.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm,
So if we have young players learning this from a young age, winning and losing doesn't matter, and having the right attitude, the right character, playing at the same intensity from minute 1 to minute 90, irrespective of the score, from a young age. Even
yeah,
I see players, I see teams. If you're winning by 4 goals, you tend to get casual, and it is bound that you will concede 1 goal. It happens. Have you ever seen a team win by 7 goals, 8 goals? No, they will concede even after putting in 7, 8 goals. So
yes,
if the mentality is right, to play when you play well while you're winning, the mentality automatically comes to play when you're losing. And
yes.
it's a talent that needs to come from inside. That's all.
That's all.
And that's what I say, that I don't need the best players. I need the most intelligent players. I need the players with the right mentality. And that's what I see when I select a player, when I sign a player in the top leagues, how the mentality is.
Mental.
So that's why, you see most of these players from the Indian Arrows, they get picked up by all the big clubs because
Yes.
they are taught what to do when you lose. You see, Indian Arrows, they lose every match, literally. It's very
Yeah.
difficult for them to win. They do win, of course, but it's very
But
difficult.
yes.
Yeah, but people say that's the worst team or whatever. But every year, all those players go to the ISL. Why? Because they have the right mentality. They work hard, even if they're 1 goal down, even if they're three
Yes.
goals down, they will keep fighting with the right intensity, the right mentality, with the right mindset, because they're brought up that way. You know,
Yes.
in
Yes.
the
Yes.
AIFF youth system. So that's what we coaches need to also bring into the youngsters, right? To keep fighting, to keep winning. The
Mm-hmm.
score doesn't matter. Score doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Playing with the
So
right mentality matters. That's it.
yeah. In nutshell, if I ask you how a player can improve themselves mentally, what you are saying, like what are the major points that you have to keep in mind to prepare mentally for the game?
Yeah, I always say, don't look at the score, don't look at your opponent, don't look at the size, don't look at the quality, don't look at the names in your opposition team. Just play your heart out, enjoy yourself, but with the right mindset and right mentality. And I'm telling you, it's very easy to become a professional player if you're
Yes.
all in, not just physically but mentally as well. You're a professional player. You're as good as being on a top flight football.
Yeah. Next question from player is asking how to improve our finishing quality and little bit confused about with the positioning, where to go without the ball as a striker. Although it's a very big question, like it's difficult to explain right now, but whatever you have, your words that you can give to this.
Like I said, that in the first question again, watching your players
But
without the ball. What do they
yes,
do? What is their positioning? You know, how many touches does the player get in a game? Maybe a striker gets very less touches in the game, but sometimes he
yes,
will get the ball in such a place, such a time that he will convert. And it's all about the right decisions. It's all about being in the right place at the right time. So for young strikers, watch your idols. Watch what Lewandowski is doing. He scores most of his goals one touch. If you
yes,
notice, yes, Lukaku's a different kind of striker who has the pace, power. Who can go past
yes.
player. Lewandowski is a person one touch. He's in the right place,
Right.
right time. So you see the Germans. They're more about technical players. It's all about
Yes,
positioning. But Belgium is more about the technical ability of the players who can go past with pace and power. So Spain is all about keeping the ball, moving it around, looking for space. So
yes,
you have to keep following your idol, and not just that, you must also know how to play as in different systems as a striker. Maybe a striker for me, maybe he's the top scorer of the I League. Maybe next year I have
yes,
an opportunity to sign him in my team, but I don't. Maybe he doesn't fit into my style, my system.
yes,
So a striker also needs to understand how to play in different styles, how to play in different systems. In Manchester United, let's say for example, uh, Alex Ferguson wanted his strikers to play in a certain way,
yes,
and now the current coach wants the strikers to play in a certain way. So you have to
yes,
learn, you have to adapt. If you can't adapt, you're lost.
True.
So let's say, for example, a Di Maria, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, one of the best wingers in the
Mm.
world. When he came to Manchester, he didn't have the best of time there because
Yes.
his game is, he's got one dimension. He loves to attack. He likes to,
But,
put those crosses in. But United were looking for something else, so he could not adapt maybe.
yeah.
So if a player can adapt, he can play for all his life under any coach. That's not a
Mm.
problem. So keep studying your favorite players, keep studying different kind of strikers, and I think it's an easy way to get to the top.
It's adaptability. Yeah.
All
I know,
adaptable.
Jan, your favorite formation is 4-3-3, as per my knowledge. It's a very balanced approach. So, what do you prefer? Like, do you prefer counter attacking, or do you prefer making plays and then wait for the right time? As a coach, what is your preference?
See, there's no fixed formation as such.
Yeah.
Playing 4-3-3, I played 4-4-2, I played 3-4-3, I played 3-5-2, I played three box three. I've done a lot.
Yeah.
I like to experiment a lot. Uh, but my main what I formations are always selected based on opposition. So there's nothing in particular that I like to
Yeah.
always go for, but based on opposition I always like to select how we are going to play. But formation not the end product. It's about having the right philosophy, the right system,
Yeah.
and keeping the same philosophy and system no matter what formation we are playing. So I'm sure everybody watches my teams play, and you see the kind of possession we like to keep. Like for example, the first game we played against Kashmir in the I League,
Yeah. Real question.
78% possession. They had the full squad with all the foreigners playing, and we had no foreigner. We had all the youngsters, all 18, 19-year-old boys playing. I didn't even have my full squad of Indians to play in that first game, but 78% possession, we were giving them a good fight, and I think we lost because of the physicality. But I think
Yeah.
we played beautiful football, and I'm really so proud of these boys because they stuck to the system, they stuck to the plan, and I think you know maintaining your system, your shape, your philosophy, irrespective of formation.
Again, the
So
adaptability word that you were saying for
absolutely,
the as a coach as
absolutely.
well as a player as well.
Absolutely. Sometimes you want you need a midfielder who can play a higher role. Sometimes you might need that midfielder to play a deeper role.
Yeah.
So if he cannot adapt, he cannot play. It's as simple as that. So, like I said, players need to start playing in different positions from the time they are young, because
Yeah.
as they get older, it starts getting tougher for them to get used to different
Switching
positions.
things. Yeah. Switching
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
So it's they say no, you can't teach a old dog new tricks. It's as simple as that. So that's why I like to work with youngsters. Promote them, give new ones opportunity in the I League, and giving them debuts. And I can see now so many of them playing in the ISL, and I'm
Yeah.
so proud of that. So many of them in the national team, for the seniors, for the juniors, everywhere you go, you see your players performing.
Yeah.
So I'm really proud of that, and that's my biggest trophy. Maybe I've not won an I League yet, but
Mm.
I think
Very
I'm
soon.
really happy with the progress my players have made, the young ones especially. Going up the ladder and into the top leagues, into the national team. That's something huge, and I'm really
That's,
proud of.
that's. We all wish you a very best to for that you will win I League for sure. There are few more questions regarding futsal as well, and few questions regarding coaching. So one of the player who has done D license coach is asking the question:
Yeah.
what are the most important factors that you are concentrating in each training session or game?
See, as a coach, every session for me is one topic. We are taught that uh, in our coaching sessions, in our coaching licenses, in this time we started, and that is what goes on even to the C license, B license, A license, Pro license. It's the same foundation. So focusing on one topic each day. Maybe we are going to play against, say, we're playing East Bengal on Saturday. So what do I need to focus on this week? To prepare for that East Bengal game. So maybe one day we focus on our defending, how we play against the kind of football they play. Next day I work on maybe my the way we build up or the way we keep possession in the final third. So every day is a different topic based on the kind of opposition we are playing.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what license you hold, but
Yeah.
this, as a coach, you have to keep maintaining. You cannot mix up things, because players are also humans. You have to understand, too much
Yes.
information at one time, they will be making a lot of mistakes. They will not be able to understand, because everybody's understanding capacity is different.
Yes.
So I always still focus one topic one day. It should, we start with the warm up, go for a little bit of technical, we go into tactical, then into our 11v11, where we focus on that same topic that we started our technical or our warm up with. So yeah, that is one thing I focus on, and I want that same thing to imply on the game, maybe on Saturday or Sunday, wherever we play against whichever team.
Yeah.
So every game is different. Approach to every match is different. The kind of planning that goes into each game is immense at the top level. Because that's not a place you can make mistakes. That's not a place that you can, try too many things. You've got to be sure about what you want to do and how you want to achieve your results. Maybe you're going to win. Maybe you're going for a draw. Maybe you want to just keep shape in defending if the opposition is a counter-attacking team. So there's so much to look into, so much to plan as a coach. And as a coach, I always say to the younger coaches, keep working. Doesn't matter if you're working with kids, doesn't matter, if you're working in the top level, keep working. Make your mistakes, especially, I've worked many years with kids, many years with kids, and that was the
Mm.
time I made my mistakes. Some coaches want to do their D license and C license and work with senior teams, and I think that is completely something that they're making a mistake at, because they will make mistakes when they work with senior teams, and
Yeah.
there's nobody to give them feedback, and they think that they're doing a good job. So as a coach, make your mistakes when you're young with the youngsters. Try what you want to try, your tactics. Work with the team who's playing 11v11 matches each week, so you can also have a match day feel. It's not that just working
Yes.
on technical abilities whole day and just preparing for match, but there's no game. So how you have your preparation, how you periodize your week as a coach, if you start it now, I think you can go a long way. And also, more than that, if you can work under a good coach, if you're a young coach, if you can work under a good coach who's got
Yeah.
a good license or some good experience, I think that is fantastic. So I've always had the opportunity to work under a lot of coaches.
Yeah.
So I used to get a lot of feedback. Sometimes I did good, sometimes I did bad, sometimes maybe not just the sessions, but maybe I said something wrong, maybe my tone was not right. So there's so much to learn, so much to learn. Even a match day preparation, maybe sometimes I make mistakes. Match day warm-ups, your match day -1 training session, your video session, you make mistakes when you're young, and it's okay. It's not wrong to make mistakes, but try to have someone who can guide you, who can give you the
Right.
right direction.
No.
And I think that young coaches, if they start maybe at the age of 18, 20, while they are playing, when the moment you're done playing, you can get into coaching very easily. So me personally, I was playing and coaching at the same time. I used to play in the
Yeah.
Calcutta League, and I was coaching kids, under eights, under tens. I was working a lot in the evenings. So I had actually a lot of hours coaching before I
Yeah.
reached to the I League. People think, oh my God, he's 25 and he was coaching in the I League. What experience does he have? I started coaching when I was actually 15 or 16, with kids. Yeah, with under 10, I was just, uh, it was a different experience. You make mistakes there, you learn,
Yeah.
you have people to guide you. So actually, before my first I League season, I actually coached 10 years with youth, so you
That
make
also counts in the experience. Yeah. People will not understand that.
it. When I was playing in the Calcutta Super League, I was coaching a team in the Calcutta Division 5, you know.
Yes.
So yeah, I was having experience. The Division 5 is all about under 16 that time. So I was 20,
Mhm.
maybe, yeah, and I was working with under 16 group in the Calgary League. So you learn, you make mistakes, you learn.
Yeah.
When I was being coached, sometimes uh, I was not given the respect that I would have liked when I was a bench player. Maybe I was not the most important player in that squad. The
Yes.
coach maybe ignored me. So I never let that happen to my players who are not playing regularly. Because I've been through that. I've experienced
Yes.
that. So for me, every player is equal. I treat them nicely. How to keep them motivated, even if you've had two losses back to back. I've
Yeah.
gone through that. So I like to work the similar way with my players. And hopefully they don't go through what I went through as a player who was not important, in the
Mhm.
squad. So for me, I
Yes.
like to give every player importance. So you learn so much. You learn from your mistakes, you learn from your experiences, but you keep learning, you keep growing. And as a coach, the sky's the limit. The young coaches coming out now
Yes.
in Indian football is just brilliant. They're much smarter. They are more into the game. They
Yes.
understand tactics. It's,
Tactics.
it's, it's fantastic to see. When I first went for my first coaching badge, everyone was laughing at me.
Mm.
Everyone, because everyone was maybe more than
Twice. Yeah. Twice of your
yeah,
age.
more than twice my age. They were all laughing at me, making fun of me. Why are you here? What are you doing here? Go play. Are you crazy? But nowadays, when I conduct courses, I see players, candidates coming when they are 18, when they are 20. I feel so
Yeah.
happy, and they tell me that because after you started coaching, we have the
Yeah.
confidence to come and start coaching when we are young. So yeah, you don't
You
have
are
to
a
be a
trendsetter. Yeah.
not
Yeah.
trendsetter. I'll just say that people are more confident now,
Confident. Yeah.
and even clubs are getting more confident to employ young coaches. Before,
Yes.
that thought process was there that only you have to be 50 years old. You must have
Mhm.
played in the top level, then only you can be a coach. But now,
Yes.
after I've been coaching since the age of 25 in the I League, in the AFC Cup, you know, clubs have also started employing younger coaches. If you see the average age of coaches now compared to what it was 10 years back in the I League, it's huge difference, huge, huge, huge
Mm.
difference. So the coaches are getting younger, they're getting more opportunities, coaches are getting more confident, and that's the only way forward for Indian football. If our Indian coaches get better, that
Yes.
automatically the players get better. So I'm really happy about that change that has come in, you know, uh, where now you can see a lot of young coaches working. So yeah, I'm so happy with that.
Mhm. That's great. Um, like I was reading in the newspaper that AIFF will take the promotion and relegation in ISL by 2024-25. That was the news in the newspaper. Uh, Taking on the same lines, how do you see what are the for the young professionals? What are the new opportunities that will come after like starting with ISL in 2013-14, and now it has been almost 10 years with ISL. How do you see the future of Indian football for in terms of professional career making of the players?
See, I think ISL has really brought a lot of professionalism into Indian football, no doubt. We cannot
Yeah.
argue about that. They've done wonders for the country. Well, I've coached in different countries, and I've seen what it is there, what it is here, and I'm so
Yeah.
happy that our country is already progressed so much compared to what it was maybe 10 years ago. Like what I was saying, so it's a fantastic opportunity because good coaches are coming in, the players are learning so much, they're getting so much exposure to play with such great foreigners, quality foreigners. Before, if
Yeah.
you see, the ISL was the foreigners that would come in were all just big names. Now it's not big
Yes.
name, now it's young foreigners who
Young
are
player.
top quality ones. So the Indian players playing with them can also learn so much, not just in the game but in training sessions as well. These foreigners, they guide them, the coaches are guiding them. They have professional goalkeeping coaches, SNC
Yes.
coaches. It's become very scientific with a lot of statistics coming into the games, a lot of data coming into, a lot of
Yeah.
analytics coming, scientific recovery, analysis. There's so much to
So
what the ISL has actually got to Indian football, and I think it just keeps getting better. So yeah, I think that once the promotion relegation starts, I think the competition will get even more
yeah.
intense. I think people will
Mhm.
be fighting even more than they are now uh, for that spot in the ISL.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that when that actually starts. But I'd like to see uh, more Indians play, less foreigners
Yes.
playing, and because they take up all the main positions. Sunil Chetri is playing on the wing, Manveer
Yeah.
Singh is playing on the wing, center backs are playing as full backs. So I feel that our Indians need game time in their particular positions if we want to get the national team better.
Better, yeah.
That's my only thought. When the foreigners are lesser,
Yeah.
Indian players get better. They get more game time. And if the league is longer, definitely, more
True.
teams, longer league, more matches, more competition, more game time. Your national team keeps getting better without knowing it.
Yeah, without, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
so
that's great.
hopefully
Uh,
things get better.
I'll not take much of your time, but just two questions. Futsal, I saw in the comment section, it's gaining a lot of traction these days. So, how do you see if I compare with cricket, like when T20 came into the picture in cricket? It's just everyone is like 2020 is the like mainly the flamboyant type of a thing in cricket. On the same lines, futsal brings the same feeling in footballs. How do you see the future of futsal, especially in organized sector?
See, I personally love futsal because
Hmm.
now I don't play so much 11-11. I'm always playing futsal. So yeah, I think that's a fantastic sport because in other countries, for example, let's say Brazil, players who can't become professional footballers, they go into futsal.
Yes.
And players who play futsal also go into professional football because it actually enhances technical abilities, decision making, more touches, more goals, more
Yeah.
1v1s like what we are taught in our courses as coaches. So futsal it's fantastic. And the interest, the growing interest now in India. I never
Yeah.
thought futsal would be so big in India. Like after this futsal leagues started, the state leagues and
Yes.
then the futsal national championship, futsal has really taken up picked up pace in our country. And the number of coaches in futsal are also increasing. It's just fantastic to see because now you'll get now players who can't make it to professional football can go into professional futsal because in Indian football, the top tier I League and ISL, how many clubs are there? How many players can play
True.
there?
Yeah.
you know so now futsal opens avenues for so many more players, so many more talents. And I got one of these players, Nikhil Mali,
Okay.
from futsal champion, the top scorer. So he's a fantastic footballer. He's actually a
Yeah.
footballer playing futsal, and he made a name in futsal, and he's enjoying himself there. So he was a different player before the futsal league, and he's now a different player after the futsal league. He's got so much more confident. He scored some 30 something goals, if I'm not wrong. He's coming like a different boy. What I saw him before and what I'm seeing him now. So futsal is the future. I think that
Yeah.
we need to
Yeah.
grow more interest in
Mm.
futsal if we want
Yeah.
to get better footballers. Trust me,
Football.
that's where Ronaldinho started with futsal. Messi started with futsal. It's all about
Yeah.
small-sided games. I think
Yeah.
it's a fantastic sport, and the growing interest is really making me happy in India. So kudos to the All India Football
Mm.
Federation for bringing in futsal in such a fantastic manner
And,
into our country.
yeah. Yeah. One small quick question. There's a lot of data available these days. How much do you rely on the analytics when you are formulating the game plan?
See, data backs your thoughts.
Yeah.
So for example, let's say uh, my team didn't press well. Just for example,
Yeah.
my team didn't press well today, and as per stats, my team actually pressed well. You
Yeah.
understand? So if I
Yeah.
didn't have stats, I would think that pressing is my problem. You understand? So for
I
example,
got the point.
let's say for
Yeah.
example, my I think that my number six was not in the right position in the game. And as per stats, it shows yes, number six was not in the right position where he's supposed to be. So
Yeah.
that now backs my opinion of what I thought earlier, and I
Yeah.
can work on that particular problem in a better way, in a more organized way. So stats actually back up what you actually think about the game. So it gives you more confidence when you have stats when you come to planning a game or something. You can even study opposition. Maybe when I'm studying
Yeah.
an opposition, I think that they are a high possession team, by just looking at them. But then, as per stats, I come to know that okay, they're not such a high possession team. They're making lesser
Yeah.
passes than, say, let's say maybe Churchill brothers. So we can approach them in a different manner. Where are the maximum passes? So stats actually help you plan for the game. So without stats, it
Yeah.
makes it really difficult to work. But I think this is the future. Without stats now,
With
it's going to get very difficult, and coaches need to also get understanding how to work with stats. Sports is now science,
Science,
sports
yeah.
is now numbers,
Mm,
so we need to get coaches to understand how to work scientifically now
yeah.
in a proper structured manner.
Proper
So for
structure.
me, stats are very important. Analytics are very important. We use a lot of GPS. We use a lot of softwares. We use a different kind of analysis programs. We have analysts in our team. We have, you know, sports scientists in our team nowadays. So, everything backs up what you
Back.
think as a coach.
What do you think?
Maybe I have a perception, okay, maybe this team is playing in this manner, but my analytics team will give me a different data. Then I'll think, okay, maybe I made a mistake as a coach thinking that they are playing in a certain manner. So it's really important to get into analytics. And I also tell these young coaches these days that maybe you cannot be the best coach. It
Yeah.
happens, everyone can't be an I League or ISL coach because there are hardly 10 teams in the I League, 10 in the ISL.
True.
So everyone can't be a top flight coach. So some are good with analytics, some are good with sports science, some are good with conditioning, some are
Yeah.
good with goalkeeping, so coaches need to understand what they are good at. Some can actually plan from now. Sometimes I meet young coaches and they tell me when they come for the D license under me. So I ask a lot of them, why are you doing this course? What do you want to do? What do you want to become? So I'm very happy. Sometimes these young coaches come to me and say, I want to become an analyst, you know. And when you ask who wants to be a head coach, everyone will pick up their hand first, but there are very few who want to go into the different avenues. And that is what we are missing as coaches in Indian
Yes.
football. So we need to have a lot of coaches going into these avenues, going into goalkeeping, going into futsal, going
Yeah.
into futsal goalkeeping, going into strength and conditioning, going into analysis, sports science. There's so much to just coaching, that just being a head coach. So I never planned to be working in the I League at such a young age. uh, and I had actually worked as assistants. I worked as analyst. I've done so much, so I've got a good foundation. I got a good base. So when I actually got that opportunity, it was very easy for me to operate with the coaching staff. What I want in particular, how to operate, how to
Yeah.
work with my goalkeeping coaches, my assistant coaches. So it was a lot of fun. It was very interesting. So I always tell young coaches, try all the avenues and think what you're good at. Some coaches might be only good for youth.
Yes.
Like, let's say for example, in the UEFA coach education programs, there's a youth pathway for coaches.
Okay.
So
That's
like
something
we have,
new. Yeah.
yeah. So like we have the D license, C license, B, A Pro in AFC. In
Yeah.
UEFA, they have the same. Plus, they have a
Yeah.
different pathway for UEFA C youth, UEFA B youth, UEFA A
Yeah.
youth. So to specialize in that youth program, to
Yes.
specialize as a youth coach. And some coaches do it throughout their lives, and they love that, they enjoy that. They don't want to work with seniors. Their joy is in developing players.
Mm. Yes.
So
Yes.
coaches need to understand what they are good at. Everybody wants to only work top flight as a head coach, but it is difficult. It's not easy. So plan as a coach. Plan. Your planning is also very important. How you want to take your career forward. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
my view.
One last question, Jan, and I want a quick answer from this. It's an interesting question. That's why I'm asking how to handle a star player of the team, because sometimes he's not listening inside the field. Because of that, sometimes team suffers, but at the same time, we also need that player. How do you contain that?
See, for me, everyone is the same. Everyone is equal. Like I said, I don't care what his name is, what he's played before, what his salary is.
Yes,
If you don't perform, you don't play. Whether
true.
you're an Indian, whether you're a foreigner, it doesn't matter. So as a coach, you also have to be courageous enough to make the decisions whether
Yeah.
I should play that star player or whether I should put him on the bench.
Yes.
Should I play him because he's being paid so much, or should I play him because he's a national team player? You have to be courageous enough to make that decision, and
Mm.
everything will fall into place. Trust me, because I've had big players on big salaries. I put them on the bench. It doesn't matter. and
Yes, that's
they themselves will understand that okay, this guy is not here to mess around. So as a coach,
true.
be courageous, and treat every player same.
So, yeah,
That's the most important thing to be a coach. Make the right decisions, choose fairly. Some clubs don't like that. Some
yes,
club official, they'll pester you, but you have to be courageous enough to
yeah,
make the right decisions,
true.
and have
But
the guts. Enjoy it. Have the
yeah,
guts.
ultimately, the bigger goal is the team. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
perfectly fine. Yeah, yeah. So, Jan, that's it from my side. At last, who is your favorite role model? You were talking about role models. So, who is the favorite coach and player for you?
Uh, Player, I don't have anyone in particular as such right now, but as a coach, it's not any one particular coach,
Yeah.
but it's a mix. You pick up certain things from different coaches.
Yes.
Like maybe Marcelo Bielsa does. He has a certain style
Yeah.
of play,
Yeah.
where you can pick up what he does without the ball. Maybe for
True.
example, Guardiola's possession, how he likes to keep possession. Jurgen Klopp's counter attacks, or Jose Mourinho's shape in defending. There's so much you
Yeah.
can pick up little from every coach, and try to be unique as a coach. You know, if
True.
imagine if Pep Guardiola tried to play like some other coach, he would never be Pep
Pep
Guardiola today.
Guardiola. Yeah.
Yeah, so be unique, try, experiment, and where's the best part? Where's the best time to experiment? With youth.
With
You
youth.
know,
Yes.
even Guardiola experimented tiki taka with youth first. Then he went and he,
Yes. Yeah.
went
For
into the
Barcelona.
Barcelona
Yeah.
team. Yeah, so as coaches, enjoy yourself. Make mistakes, try new things with youth. Even they learn, you learn, and then if you're confident enough, you take it to the next level with seniors. And same, the players also can go and learn, and show what they are capable of in the senior teams.
That's perfectly great answer. So thank you so much, Jan, for taking out time and have a conversation with all the young players. Thank you so much, audience, for tuning in tonight. Have a wonderful session. I hope all of you have enjoyed. If still you have all the questions, we can have him again as whenever in the future, very soon, whatever is possible mutually. Thank you, Jan. Thank you for your time. And it's a wonderful time for me to have a conversation with you. And it's a great pleasure to host you on our Bhopal City FC
Thank you,
YouTube
my
channel.
brother. And best of luck to your club as well. I
Thank
hope
you.
that even you guys can take it to the top flight, to the top level of Indian football, and develop the football in Bhopal. That's where, this is where
That's
you
what
look
we're
at
trying. Yeah.
Look at Rajasthan United, from where nothing.
Yes.
Rajasthan is in the top league of Indian football.
Yeah.
So anything is possible. So I wish you guys all the best, and also you as a coach, as in the team management, just keep going.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jan. Thank you. Good night. Yeah. I have ended the session.